Tell me when you need to slip. Ready? Can't feel my arms.
Each event is different from what numbers that we typically look at. Mark Hortsy, he's the stats guy, and so he will send us a profile for each event. Kind of what I mean by that is like these are the areas of focus that we need to hit on this week for this golf tournament, for this course. So whether it's a golf course where I know I'm gonna have a lot of shots from 100 to 150, my range work that week will typically focus on the 100 to 150 range. To be completely honest, I kind of let Brad and Travis kind of work on that stuff together. They kind of will have communication amongst themselves and come up with sort of a plan, and then they'll kind of bring it to me and say, hey, this is what we think. What are your thoughts? Get that one?
Yeah. Rotated, centered right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. What club's up?
56.
Oh, perfect. Do one more with that. We'll go to something a little bit bigger.
Okay. There?
Yes. Yeah, good. The first time I ever met Sam was when he was 15 years old. His dad called and was looking for a coach for Sam, and he brought him over here. They joined our club here and started working with him then. He was obviously physically gifted. He had an unbelievable golf swing at the time. It was really evident early on that Sam was different in his work ethic, what he did, his skill and what he was able to do, the way that he moves when he swings a golf club. And I remember specifically telling my wife, like, he's different.
I'm so grateful for him because, he's not just his coach, but Sam looks up to him as a mentor. He looks up to him as a father, a role model.
I'll never forget the time I met Brad at LSU's golf course, walking and talking and just seeing someone who cares so much about Sam on and off the golf course. Not only about his success, it's not about the money, but it's about, enjoying the process.
Coach is obviously what we get labeled, but it's so much more than that. It's not just standing on the range looking at swings. It's working through our practice schedule and what we need to do to try to achieve the success that we want to achieve. So we're not going to rest on what we've done.
We talk a lot more than golf, and so just being able to have that kind of open conversation about life, and he understands this life on the road that we live and how difficult it can be at times, and so to always know that he's there to help me is really important.
Sam made a caddy change at one point in his career, which I'm not going to lie, I kind of pushed for because I realized how important, and I think other members of his team realized how important it was for Sam to have someone by his side who he constantly trusts when he got in difficult situations that really needed to help manage that moment. And when Sam had Travis join the team, everything changed.
I had been out with Sam a couple times when I was caddying for Brant Snedeker. Had noticed that he had a lot of game and had heard a lot about him. Physically was extremely gifted, but just was making errors on the golf course that, as a young guy, you can't just give strokes away to everybody. And that's kind of what he was doing. And I felt like with the team that I'd always been around, this was something I could bring to the table.
He's incredible. He, played out on tour for a year. He really understands, like in those pressure type moments of, how the golf courses can change and how, I start reacting differently. He's really good at kind of keeping me in it. And, I see Brad pretty much every day when I'm home. And I see Brad a ton on the road, but Brad's not there 24/7. I mean, Travis on the road watches me hit every golf ball that I hit. So, he has a perspective that is different from Brad's and it's different from mine. And it's an extremely important perspective because, he gets to see how I'm acting under the gun, and a lot of times no one else really gets to see that.
I work with Travis on looking at what Sam does on a weekly basis. He gives me feedback on that. He's a huge asset for us in what he provides out there. Not only just in his caddy skills, I mean, he's the best, but just in taking the data that we get, the stats, and being able to work those on course profiles, and yeah, he's excellent.
Over the last couple years that guys have really started to rely on some of the data that is available to them. And I think that if you're not using it, you're not taking advantage of all the resources that are available to you. And it helps us. It's a fact-based analysis of what you should be doing. So there's no real reason, or there's no way to argue with it. There might be 1 or 2 times in a round that I relay the information that we have gotten from technology, from the data, and it can change a decision, it can change an outcome, it can change momentum of the round. And that's really what my job is. If I can save my guy 1 stroke around, then I've saved him 4 strokes for the week, and let's see where that puts us.
I mean, he's been a huge part of our success, and I definitely would not be where I am without him. I think trust is one of the biggest things involved within our team. I mean, I think the most important thing is to know that everyone is doing their job. You know, everyone has a role to play, and it's just as important and equal as anyone else's. And so for me, I expect the same out of them as what they expect out of me. And so I think to have that respect for each other and know that we're all working towards the same goal is of utmost importance.